Chick-fil-A, the renowned American fast food restaurant, has become synonymous with quality, service, and most importantly, a dedication to its principles. Chick-fil-A's rise from humble origins in the South to national prominence and a cult-like following is a story of entrepreneurial energy, strategic innovation, and steadfast commitment to original beliefs. So in this episode today, we're going to take a deeper look at the history, values, business methods, scandals, and future possibilities of this fast food empire. Let's begin. For anything to become big and spread on a giant scale, there's always a beginning. Founded in the 1940s as the Dwarf Grill by Truett Cathy in the Atlanta suburb of Hapeville, Chick-fil-A grew to include more than 1,800 restaurants in the United States by 2014, with annual sales of more than $5 billion in 2013. The company, which specializes in the original boneless chicken breast sandwich, is one of the largest independently owned restaurant chains in the United States, as well as the largest fast food chicken restaurant. In 1967, after refining the chicken recipe, Cathy rebranded as Chick-fil-A and launched the first Chick-fil-A restaurant in Atlanta's food court. Their name was redesigned to be a play on chicken fillet. The capital A signifies the highest quality chicken utilized in the sandwiches. The motto, "We didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich," reflects the chain's origins. This was the time when this fast food chain was expanding and innovating. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Chick-fil-A expanded steadily, mostly through franchising. However, it was not until the 1990s when the corporation began to make substantial advances in innovation and growth. Chick-fil-A's now famous Eat More Chicken advertising campaign, which featured the beloved bovine mascots, was spearheaded by Truett Cathy's son, Dan Cathy. This ad not only enhanced brand awareness, but it also reinforced Chick-fil-A's reputation for inventiveness and humor. Furthermore, Chick-fil-A transformed the fast food market by emphasizing customer experience. The addition of twin drive-through lanes, swift order taking, and polite service established a new standard for fast food restaurants. In addition to operational advancements, Chick-fil-A promoted food innovation by introducing healthier options such as grilled chicken sandwiches and salads alongside its traditional offerings. But how was the original Chick-fil-A sandwich created? As we mentioned earlier, this restaurant was called Dwarf House because of its small size with the availability of limited seats. The restaurant owner, Truett Cathy, had opened a second Dwarf House facility, which was unfortunately destroyed by fire. This set Cathy back significantly, since he relied on sales from the second shop to help pay down his debt. Unfortunately for him, the insurance reimbursement never arrived, so he immediately sought to revive his menu at the old Dwarf House in an effort to increase sales. However, a turning point came in Truett Cathy's job path when he received a call from a chicken supplier. The chicken supplier who contacted Cathy had recently completed a huge order for a local airline. The airline had size limitations for each cut of chicken since it needed to fit into a modest enough meal for each passenger on the plane. Certain slices were too large for the plane, therefore the owner wanted to sell the remaining chicken as soon as possible before it went bad. Truett Cathy jumped at the opportunity, purchasing all of the remaining chicken and experimented with fried chicken sandwiches. After hundreds of attempts and samples were offered to customers at Dwarf House, he perfected the recipe for the original Chick-fil-A sandwich, a toasted, buttered sandwich with breaded chicken breast and 2 dill pickle chips along with the unique Chick-fil-A sauce, which is a secret recipe. The sandwich had to be made in a pressure cooker to speed up the cooking process, then baked in peanut oil to boost the flavor. Thus, Chick-fil-A was born. The sandwich was an instant success, and Cathy knew he needed to start a new restaurant solely dedicated to it. And the journey took off from there to this day. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, Chick-fil-A's expansion efforts intensified, leading to a surge in national dominance. The company carefully targeted high-traffic areas including retail malls, airports, and college campuses, leveraging its reputation for quality and service. Chick-fil-A also created a rigorous selection process for potential franchisees to ensure that new sites upheld the brand standards and values. By the mid-2000s, Chick-fil-A had solidified its position as a major fast food operator. Its sales growth frequently exceeded competitors, and its customer satisfaction scores were among the greatest in the business. The company's success was aided by its emphasis on product innovation, with new menu items and limited time specials creating excitement and attracting new customers. Chick-fil-A reached a critical milestone in 2010 when its yearly sales surpassed $3 billion, cementing its status as one of the top fast food businesses in the United States. Despite rising competition from rivals such as McDonald's and Wendy's, Chick-fil-A remained successful, thanks to its dedicated customer base and persistent commitment to excellence. So what is their success strategy? There are numerous options for expansion, both within and outside of the franchise model. A Chick-fil-A restaurant chain grows in a variety of methods, including taking on debt through loans, obtaining funds from investors, and outsourcing capital and operations to franchise owners. Some of them are as follows. First up, the company uses funds using profits only. Truett Cathy was born in 1921. Therefore, he went through the Great Depression, which began in 1929. In one of his statements, he said, "Back then, you bought something if you had the cash to buy it. With debt, you have to worry about it." Thus, his concept was to reduce risk by restricting debt, which has shown to be extremely effective, as the company still has virtually no debt on its balance sheet. Initially, this meant merely opening eateries inside malls. Mall food courts required substantially less development and had far less square feet than independent restaurants. This allowed Cathy to expand the Chick-fil-A brand for the lowest possible cost. By the 1980s, with McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and KFC all opening drive-thru locations, competition was heating up. This led to Chick-fil-A's first ever freestanding location in 1986, highlighting the significance of the second leg of the expansion strategy. Second, it implements strict franchisee screening and standards. You might not realize it, but Chick-fil-A's franchise offerings are significantly less expensive than standard fast food businesses. This is what distinguishes Chick-fil-A from other franchise companies. For example, a McDonald's franchise might cost between $1.3 million and $2.3 million per restaurant, but Chick-fil-A will just require a $10,000 franchise fee. Why? This is because they cover all expenses, including real estate, equipment, marketing, and food supply. There are advantages and disadvantages to this approach for franchisees, but as a franchisor, Chick-fil-A's low price barrier allows them to cast an extremely wide net for possible new operators. Fast forward to now, and there are over 60,000 candidates seeking to become a Chick-fil-A operator each year, with the firm accepting only about 80. With an acceptance rate of just 0.13%, you have a higher chance of getting into Harvard, Stanford, or even the United States Secret Service. That's what made Chick-fil-A the fast food giant it is today. The chain gained significant traction in 2003 when it announced the launch of a new location in Arizona. The advertisement promised that the first 100 customers would receive a free combination dinner every week for a year. They even hosted an opening day carnival with karaoke, free ice cream, and prize giveaways. The initial 100 advertisements were so popular that they are shown at the opening of every new Chick-fil-A restaurant. But beneath it all was a straightforward business approach. They maintained a simple menu that remained focused on chicken sandwiches, and they strived to give impeccable customer service. And the numbers? They also tell the story of its meteoric rise. In 2017, Chick-fil-A sales increased 14.2%, or $1.1 billion, bringing the total to more than $9 billion for the year. As of July 2018, revenues have increased by 15.5%, increasing the projected sales of 2018 to over $10.4 billion. With these figures, that's enough to wrest the third place spot from Subway, which, despite its staggering number of locations, has had a rough few years in terms of sales. It also makes Chick-fil-A America's fastest growing chain, with 100 new shops opening each year. Domino's, which has been doubling down on pizza promotions as well as basic public road upkeep, ranks second in terms of growth at 12%, but first in pothole management. For context, this would place Chick-fil-A behind McDonald's and Starbucks, but ahead of old standbys Taco Bell, Burger King, and Wendy's. This is notable not for the money, though that is noteworthy, but because Chick-fil-A has become possibly the most politicized fast food chain in America in recent years. There may also be no fast food restaurant more valued by people who firmly and explicitly oppose these politics. But there's one more interesting thing. It is also worth noting that Cathy based the company on its religious views. According to the corporate objective, the company exists to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to us. All Chick-fil-A restaurants are closed on Sundays, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. They only violated their custom of opening on Sundays to cook meals for stranded passengers at Atlanta's airport and to honor a youngster with cerebral palsy's birthday wish. Cathy's faith-based entrepreneurialism was a contributing component to its success. Despite its popularity, Chick-fil-A has not been without controversy. In 2012, the company experienced outrage and boycotts after Cathy expressed his Christian convictions against same-sex marriage. The scandal spurred intense discussions about corporate accountability, free speech, and LGBTQ+ rights. But the main beef started back in 2020. Chick-fil-A's anti-LGBTQ image has been gaining traction for more than a decade, thanks to LGBTQ media reporting that the corporation, through its religious WinShape organization, had given nearly $2 million to anti-LGBTQ organizations such as the Marriage and Family Foundation, Exodus International, and the Family Research Council. That spurred additional coverage from the new civil rights movement, which revealed that Chick-fil-A provided an estimated $5 million to homophobic organizations from 2003 to 2010. Activists of marriage equality sought to boycott the company, and then opponents of those activists called for counter-boycotts. Conservative icon Glenn Beck sold shirts with the non-phrase, "A deep-fried storm is coming, Mr. Obama," since Obama was the American president at the time, beneath an image of a chicken, cementing the chicken sandwich restaurant status as a symbol of an American cultural divide. When the restaurant began growing its footprint in Deep Blue, New York City in 2015, Mayor Bill de Blasio informed reporters that because of Cathy's words, he would not be patronizing the company, and he encouraged other New Yorkers to follow suit. Despite this advice, Eater noted that the chain's New York locations are routinely busy, with the largest Chick-fil-A ever opening in Manhattan's financial district in 2018. It's 12,000 square feet, with 5 levels, 2 kitchens, and an untold amount of poultry. The New Yorker's Dan Piepenbring described it as having the ersatz homespun ambiance of a megachurch. However, by the end of 2019, everything seemed to be in the past. That's when the corporation announced, albeit not explicitly, that its charitable arm would stop donating to organizations with anti-LGBTQ ties, such as the Salvation Army, which has since been forgiven by some, and the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, in favor of a refined giving approach. Instead, it would prioritize donations to groups that promote education, eradicate adolescent homelessness, and combat hunger. While Chick-fil-A has subsequently softened its public stance on social issues, the episode demonstrated the difficulties of handling values-based business practices in an increasingly polarized society. But none of these significantly slowed Chick-fil-A's growth. One might think that the corporation's high-profile involvement in controversial social causes would pose a challenge for the company as it grows. Ad Age published Chick-fil-A finds politics can be bad for its business immediately after Cathy's original comments in 2012. In Boston, then-Mayor Thomas Menino informed the corporation that allowing it to open there would be an insult to the city. But, by the stats, Chick-fil-A was dominating the world. This was true despite the fact that the bulk of public opinion appeared to be in conflict with the most prominent causes that the firm supports. According to the most recent Pew data, popular support for same-gender marriage reached its peak in more than 20 years of polling on the subject, even among groups that had been skeptical. What's intriguing about Chick-fil-A's contradiction is that, in many ways, it's one of the most socially progressive firms in terms of employment treatment and community involvement. Apart from that, Chick-fil-A also has difficulty in terms of foreign expansion. While the corporation has grown rapidly in the United States, its overseas expansion has been somewhat gradual. Cultural differences, logistical hurdles, and rivalry from established fast food businesses have hampered Chick-fil-A's global expansion. However, the company is still committed to a strategic expansion, with ambitions to progressively enter new areas while adhering to its basic values. Despite challenges, Chick-fil-A has remained committed to community engagement and philanthropy. The Chick-fil-A Foundation and the WinShape Foundation support a variety of charity projects, including education, youth development, and foster care. In addition to financial contributions, Chick-fil-A encourages its employees to volunteer and make a difference in their communities. This dedication to giving back is consistent with Chick-fil-A's principles of service and compassion, maintaining the company's reputation as socially responsible. As Chick-fil-A looks ahead, it sees both potential and problems. With a devoted client base, an innovative business model, and a strong brand identification, the company is well positioned to continue growing and succeeding in the competitive fast food industry. However, Chick-fil-A must negotiate changing consumer preferences, technology breakthroughs, and shifting societal conventions while remaining faithful to its core ideals. However, it feels like Chick-fil-A has already gotten started with that. As consumer preferences evolve toward convenience and technology, Chick-fil-A embraced digital transformation to improve the customer journey. In 2016, the firm debuted its Chick-fil-A One app, which allows consumers to place orders ahead of time, earn rewards, and receive personalized discounts. The app soon acquired popularity, gaining millions of users and generating significant revenue growth. Chick-fil-A also made significant investments in technology infrastructure, deploying modern kitchen automation systems and digital signage to increase service efficiency and speed. These investments paid off during the COVID-19 epidemic, as Chick-fil-A's strong digital platform allowed it to quickly transition to contactless ordering and delivery, assuring customer and employee safety. Despite its digital capabilities, Chick-fil-A stayed true to its essential ideas of hospitality and human connection. The organization continued to stress in-person contact with clients, emphasizing the value of genuine hospitality in an increasingly digital age. So what's the future of Chick-fil-A? As Chick-fil-A looks ahead, it sees both potential and problems. With a devoted client base, an innovative business model, and strong brand identification, the company is well positioned to continue growing and succeeding in the competitive fast food industry. However, Chick-fil-A must negotiate changing consumer preferences, technology breakthroughs, and shifting societal conventions while remaining faithful to its core ideals. Since today's fast food industry has turned away from personalized attention and toward convenience, customers are increasingly dining away from restaurant tables, such as at home, in the vehicle, or at their workstation. This is a worrying trend for a high-touch chain like Chick-fil-A, but the company is responding. At its drive-thrus, where franchise operators can push up to 500 automobiles through the windows every hour, the process still concludes with a face-to-face encounter where we can connect with the guest, according to David Farmer, Chick-fil-A's VP of Innovation and New Ventures. Apart from that, the business has created a prototype restaurant with a drive-thru that can serve 720 vehicles per hour, a 4-lane affair with an elevated kitchen and conveyors that send food down to runners below who bring it to vehicles like valets. With that, we can say that the rise of Chick-fil-A from a small diner in Georgia to a national fast food powerhouse is a testament to the power of entrepreneurship, values-driven leadership, and strategic innovation. Its devotion to quality, service, and community has not only resulted in amazing success, but has also had a long-term impact on the fast food industry and American culture in general. As Chick-fil-A evolves and adapts to an ever-changing world, its heritage of excellence and ethics will definitely go on for future generations. What are your thoughts on it? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the bell icon to always stay updated with more of such interesting content. Thanks for watching Bite Notes.